Yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy Goes back with an episode 2 of our How to Make a Tycoon on Roblox. I'm here in the map that we made in the last episode, but we're not really going to be touching the map right now. We're actually going to start building our actual Tycoon. A lot of this video is probably just going to be, excuse me. A lot of this video is probably just going to be a time lapse because I'm gonna have to code a lot. We are doing this from scratch, so a lot of it will have to be made basically. In other words, I'm gonna have to script a lot of stuff. But don't worry, if you guys are not good at scripting, I'll do my best to leave my GitHub in the description down below. With all the code for the specific scripts that you're going to be making with this tycoon. And then we'll also probably go into situate game essentials. And then we could probably start with our tycoon itself, like the base of it. We'll probably build the actual tycoon where we create the buttons and the purchases and the droppers and the convert and tool. We'll probably do all of that in episode 3 or 4. Just because this is a warfare tycoon, so I have to brainstorm and play some military type games so I could get sort of an idea of what exactly I want to include and what I want to involve. But today we're just going to be setting up the fundamentals, the essentials that we need for the tycoon to work, and that's pretty much about it. So with that being said, we're going to get right into it. We're already in Roblox Studio. I don't really need much else to get started. You don't need any plugins or anything. You could leave properties open because we're going to rename a lot of stuff. But to begin, I'm just going to insert a model and we're just going to name this, I don't know, you want to name this, it kind of matters what you name the model. So for an example, if you want to make your own tycoon kit, I know there's a Zednov tycoon kit. You could name it to that, and then you'll just have to change that in the script to match the model name. But in this instance, we'll do Warfare Tycoon kit. It's not going to be a kit, but I'm just going to name it a kit. That way it's easier to find, and then eventually later we're going to rename it. With that being said, we're going to insert some folders into this model that we just created. Duplicate that so we have 2 folders. We're going to name this folder Game Essentials. And now we're not going to touch that folder until the end. And then for this folder, we're going to put Tycoons. Your Tycoons is going to be in this Tycoons folder. So if you want to have more than one Tycoon, you just duplicate the Tycoon once it's finished and change up a few things that we're going to add at a later date or later episode. Now we're going to import or add, we're going to put 4 scripts, and then we're going to insert a module script as well. On this first script, we're going to name this one, this is going to be our core handler. Then for the script, we're going to name this the dev product handler. The third script, we're going to name this linked leaderboard. This is if you want your your kills to show, or your deaths, or your rebirths, or your money. That's what that's going to be. Dev product handler is just going to manage all your dev products that you have. Core handler is going to be the core of your tycoon. It's basically going to handle a lot of the stuff that we're going to have. This script we're going to name save trigger, and then this module script we're going to name to settings. Now if you want, in the save trigger, actually we're going to duplicate a folder, and we're going to put the folder into the save trigger script. We're going to name that content. Then let's duplicate the settings module script and put that in save trigger as well. So inside of content, after that, we're going to want to put in some remote events. We'll name this one give cash. We're going to duplicate this, rename this to rebirth event, and then we'll duplicate this, and then we'll do touch all tycoon buttons. These remote functions are just going to be strictly in owner permission, meaning if you're a regular player, you won't have access to any of these except the rebirth event. Basically meaning once you pretty much beat your tycoon and you purchase pretty much everything, you'll have a chance to rebirth, which will then multiply your money by a set amount, and it will, if you want, it will also unlock new features to your tycoon. So you have all the same buttons that you had in the first, I guess, you have all the same buttons of your tycoon before you rebirthed, and after you rebirthed, you'll have new buttons on top of the old buttons. So I think it's kind of just a new and nice way to implement a lot of things. So for instance, you can have a rocket ship in your game, like a missile, but that won't be able to be unlocked until you rebirth like 5 times, you know. In content, in the folder, we're gonna insert a module script. We're gonna duplicate this so we have 2 module scripts. The first one, we're gonna name player stat manager, and then in the second module script, we'll name this purchase handler new. We're gonna have 2 purchase handlers. I just want to make sure I know the difference between each. You guys don't need to name it new if you don't want to, but for the sake of this video, I prefer that you do, because if you don't, it'll probably, the script that you're gonna get if you do decide to copy from the GitHub, it'll probably not work unless you know what you're doing and you can change the names. Other than that, we're not going to really worry about anything in the content folder for right now. We're just going to go into the core handler. I'm going to cue some music. I'm going to script all this. And then when I'm finished, I will explain what exactly it's doing. So I will see y'all when I'm done. Alright, that only took so long. Okay, this is basically if you are copying the script, you don't really need to touch it because all the configurations are located in this. Most of the configurations will be located in the settings module script. So do not edit the script unless you know what you're doing. So real quick, I'm gonna walk y'all through it right here. Instance, we're just setting our locals here, so we don't really need to worry about it. Creating a new storage for our parts in the server storage. That storage name is gonna be player money and parts storage. So when your droppers drop parts, those parts will be in the storage. They won't like cause the game any lag or anything. Moving down to over here, auto assign teams. This basically runs first so that if there is a white team, it's not, or hang on, if there's a white team, it's going to be switched over. So we'll make it so when we make our tycoon, there's going to be the default like for hire, or something like that. For the team hire, you can really put it to anything you want. I just kept it for hire for now, but I'll probably change this into the future once I know what I want my teams to be named. For example, I don't even know, honestly. I gotta think of stuff, but that's basically what that does. Moving down, we have our clone. Where is it? Tycoon's clone right here. So this basically is going to store the tycoon, and then it's going to make teams dependent on the tycoon's name. And then we also made a handler to duplicate team colors right below it. So I think that's a pretty cool idea that I incorporated. If we come down a little bit more, right here, the local new team. This basically makes sure for no duplicates. So you're gonna make your own teams, so when a player joins, there won't be any duplicates of a team. So there won't be 2 for hire teams, if that makes sense. The rest is nothing really for you to worry about. It's just mainly shit with like the settings. But that's basically it. What the fuck did I just do? Oh, I could have zoomed in the whole time. That would have saved me so much time in the editing. I ain't even gonna lie. Okay then. I think that's how I had it. I don't know if that's how I had it. I had it like this. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it like that, and then I'll zoom in when we edit the footage. But the core handler is pretty much done. We're gonna move on to the dev product handler. This is just gonna be for dev products like parts, build-ins, buttons, purchases, like all that stuff. Not gonna be too long, and we're just gonna get right into it.
Till I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Alright, we finished our dev product script. There's not much here to cover except right here. This is the button for your dev product value. So when we make our tycoon and we have like the buttons option, we'll make our dev product name whatever we want, really, to be honest. But at some point you'll have to make a dev product object, and then that's where we come here and we change the name and the value of it. but we're not going to cover dev products right now. We're just going to move on, because honestly I'm kind of getting tired of all the scripting already, even though for me we're like almost 35 minutes into the video, but for y'all you're probably only like what 10 minutes into it, so it's crazy, man. Now we got to do the linked leaderboard. We're going to make this entire thing from scratch, and then afterwards I'll explain to you guys what exactly everything is, so you know if you want to change anything or keep anything, or show anything or whatnot. So we're gonna get right into the leaderboard. After that, we're gonna do the save trigger. Actually, I'm not exactly sure if we want to do the save trigger in this episode. We might want to save that for a later date. But we're gonna do the settings as well after that. But yeah, let's get into this linked leaderboard. Mute my music so I could explain this. This was so long. This was longer than it had to be, in my opinion. But we're gonna start it at the top. Hands hurt. I prefer if you didn't touch this script if you don't know what you're doing. This is for the leaderboard and for you to keep track of people's kills, deaths, and cash. So at the very beginning here, right here, we do a short little dance to try and find the killer. You know, I'm being sarcastic here. If you don't understand that, look it up and figure it out. Okay. Here, create a new function. We need to connect to the new humanoid, because later down here, it will return the player object that gets killed in this humanoid. So it's going to return nil if the killer is no longer in the game. I also made it check for kill tag on a humanoid, so there may be more than one. You can also find a player here. Where is it? Right here. You can find the player with a name on the tag, and then right here, this is if the player is still in the game. Everything else is for if you have. I made it so CTF mode. If you turn that on, obviously the leaderboard will look a bit different, and you'll be able to adjust majority of the leaderboard in the settings, which we're gonna go over. But halfway through the script, my monitor is really starting to piss me off, and I'm about to put my fist through it. Honestly, I fixed it. We're good. Sorry for that. Okay, I didn't put my fist through it. It was close. But we're gonna just do the settings, because the settings ain't gonna take that long, hopefully. And then I'm going to explain what everything is. And after that, we're gonna end the video. We're gonna end episode 2 because I'm coming up on an hour now, although it's probably been like 20-25 minutes for y'all. All the scripts is gonna be in the GitHub down below. So if you have any issues, comments, concerns, questions, just leave them in the comments. I'll get back to you when I can. I'm always on YouTube or Netflix, so I'll see your comment for sure, unless it's pending for review because it feels like you're a bot. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into the settings. Real easy, nice and simple. And yeah. Alright, we finished the settings. A little complicated, more than I wanted it to be. An hour and 15 minutes this video is, but I'll probably shrink it down to about 25-30. We're gonna go over everything just so everyone knows what exactly they are. There will be, that's my chair. In the GitHub, there's gonna be notes next to the next to what each of the settings is and what you can do to change it. So to begin, we have sounds, purchase, collect, and error buy. So purchase is the sound it's going to make when you successfully purchase a button. Collect is going to be the sound that it makes when you collect your money. And then error buy is when you try to buy something but you don't have enough money for it, you can't afford it. So find the audio ID, copy the ID, paste it in where the zeros are, and you'll be set. Auto assign teams, pretty self-explanatory. If you want it, you could set to true, and it will be, the player will automatically be assigned to a team, to a tycoon. I'm gonna set this to false. Personal preference, I guess. Currency name, just the name of your currency inside the tycoon. It will show up everywhere for everyone, so you can make it money, you can make it bank, you can make it really anything. Dough, bread. Build animation. So basically, if you've played a tycoon and you, let's say you buy like a dropper, build animation would be kind of like, the parts would be coming from the sky or something, and it would like assemble, you know, it wouldn't just show up. So that's what that is. Buttons fade out time. Buttons fade out time. Buttons fade in time. That's just if you want the buttons to fade in and out instead of them just automatically appearing and disappearing in a blink of an eye. I set that to true because I think it looks clean. I think it looks nice. And of course, you could adjust the time for how long it takes to fade in and out. Leaderboard settings, KOs. I set that to true because knockout KOs or knockouts will show on the leaderboard. That's how many kills you got. You could also change the name of that under kills name. It doesn't really matter. Kills. It's just kind of whatever you call kill. WO is wipeouts. Pretty much that's deaths. I set that to false because I could care less how many deaths you got. You can change the kill's name and death's name if I haven't said already under their appropriate category. Show currency. This will show the player's money to others in the game, and the show short currency will change a player's cash from 100,000. So we show you here. So basically 100,000 to, I can't type, bro, I swear, to 100K. So that's basically what show short currency is. Coming down, steal settings. This could be useful for some games, so I figured I'd implement it. Basically, if it's set to true, stealing, if set to true, when you step on another player's collectors, you can steal a percent that's indicated, or what you set from the player. So for right now, I set the percent to 0.25, but you could change that to whatever you want. If you set it to 1, it'll take all the currency that they have in their collector. Player protection is the amount of time in seconds in which the player can't be stolen from. So if I stolen from a player just now, I have to wait 60 seconds or a minute before I could steal from that player again. With that being said, that's going to wrap up the end of this video. We're going to do the save trigger at a different date, or I might just do it on my own because it's going to take a while. That's basically where everything's going to go. Purchase handler, dev products, like more in depth, should I say. The link leaderboard, the settings, the build animation, the steal, like everything's going to go in the save trigger. So I think it's probably best if I just do that on my own time. That way I don't have to kill myself in the editing process. But that's gonna be it for this video, this episode. In the next episode, we're gonna start building out our actual tycoon, get a couple of droppers down, and I guess I'll see y'all in the next video. GitHub's gonna be down in the link below if you guys need the link for the scripts. Any questions, comments, concerns, issues, again, leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you. Subscribe, like. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.